Have you ever tried Allspice Dram before?
Not until 30 seconds ago when you had me try a sip.
Same.
I have to pick out these whiskeys in a cocktail that uses both Allspice Dram and Angostura bitters.
And Demerara syrup. Correct.
You're a sadist.
Thank you. So we're continuing local distillery month here on Alchemix Bar. And you might be saying, wait, Carl, wait, Riley, Koval is not local to you. And you are very correct, Internet. It is local to our buddy Anders in Chicago, who actually gifted us this nice little sample pack when we visited him in Oz to do the Reposado Tequila episode. So if you haven't seen that, check that out. Links in the description. Chicago is only 3 hours away from us.
So it could be considered local. We could drive there.
Right, local-ish, right?
Local adjacent.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited. We've been holding on to this for many months now,
Yes.
waiting for the perfect time, and I thought this would be a great time to do it.
Yes.
Because Anders gifted us this, we're gonna do a cocktail he did on his channel. It's a common cocktail, or it's a classic cocktail that we haven't tried yet, called the Lion's Tail. So I'm looking forward to trying that. But what information do we have about it?
The information we have is all of the information on the back of the box, so I'm just going to read it here. Koval is Chicago's first legal distillery in well over a century and is completely family-owned and operated by husband and wife team Dr. Robert and Dr. Tanat Bernecker. It's a grain-to-bottle operation doing everything in-house from milling of the grain through the entire mashing and distilling process. Local farmers are contracted to grow the grain Koval uses in its spirits.
Nice.
So they really do embody the concept of being local.
Yep.
And I do enjoy that.
Right, exactly. It's good that they're using the resources. It's a benefit of being in the Midwest because a lot of this stuff is grown locally.
You want grain, we got.
And in the 3 bottles that in this nice little gift set, it is a rye, a whiskey, and a porter. So they're going to obviously all give their own flavor profiles and definitely make this cocktail different in each way.
Right.
But let's see which one we do. But first, we're going to try them because I've never had this brand before. Have you?
No.
Let's give it a try. So which one do you want to try first?
I don't know, but these are the cutest little bottles
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
They kind of like remind me of like old school medicine bottles, like back in the day. You know, probably like in the
tincture
40s.
bottles.
Yeah. Nice little gift set. I think they're each 200 mils. Yep, 200 milliliters. So unfortunately, I don't know the price of this.
It was
40, 50 bucks.
When I did a quick Google search, it looked like 60.
60. Okay.
For the pack.
Not too bad. All right, let's go and just do the 4 grain first. We'll leave the rye last.
Do you think the 4 grain is going to have more complex flavor profile than the bourbon?
I'll have to grab some water.
It was a very satisfying cork pop too.
Mm-hmm. Like very vanilla.
Like I want to say floral, but there's no floral at all.
No.
It just like reminds me of the way a floral arrangement smells pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it does smell like grain, obviously.
Yeah.
It smells very, like kind of like orange blossom, kind of.
Yeah.
Like that, just that kind of brightness, I
Right.
guess.
There's a little bit of the ethanol sting in the nose,
Right. But it's not like unpleasant.
but no.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It's very well rounded.
It's peppery. It's got a high rye profile, I think.
It does too. Yeah, I think so too.
But it is sweet in a good way. I think you get the best of all of the worlds in this.
And give that like the viscosity at the end, kind of. It's almost like simple syrup, almost, but not as sweet. Just kind of has that kind of just sweetness.
And it's a little bit smoky on the finish.
Which is nice.
Yes. A little bit of charred barrel.
Right.
Very woody.
I like it. I like it.
Yes.
I like it a lot. I could definitely
Yeah.
drink that just on a rock and be happy with it.
This might be the only whiskey I would choose to do that with.
See, guys, see what happens when we put a year into efforts and palate changing.
That's really
Just like you.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and give the bourbon a try.
Yes. Bourbon. Distilled from 100% grains.
And there we go. The real deal. Hopefully we can find some time and check out this distillery next year.
I mean, gosh, we might have to go to Chicago.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. That being said, I've always not been a fan of Chicago because driving there is atrocious. But,
you know, there are some things and some people that just make it okay to get to.
Yep.
It's sweet, but a different sweet. That one again, you know, your vanilla, just again from the barrels. A little smoky.
Ooh. Spicier on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Both in the alcohol burn and the smell itself.
Yeah. You know, again, we are not the most connoisseur bourbon drinkers in the world. I kind of like what I like, and I go with it. And, you know, I try to pull out different notes and stuff like that. If I had to take one bourbon that everyone is familiar with and say it tastes like that, I think Maker's. It's on the sweeter side of bourbon than, let's say, like a Bullet.
There is more char flavor in it.
There is a very charry flavor.
Yeah, it's prominent. Sure. It is sweet, but it's a little bit more spicy than I expected.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Overall, though, not unhappy with it.
Right.
It's not generally choose to drink, but
that's
I don't choose to drink bourbon.
Right.
So.
I enjoy the slab. Once we're done with these guys, like, so far, I would like to have a bottle, like full-size bottle. Yeah. It's just the right mixture of char, sweetness, vanilla on the nose, just itself. Like, it smells super good.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, there's just enough bite in there, but it's not like, ugh.
It's not as viscous as the first one.
No, not at all.
It is a little bit thin on the palate, but not, I don't think that's off-putting.
Comparatively speaking,
yes.
Less than the first one.
Yes. As far as bourbon goes, it's a good bourbon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely, if you can find it.
Even for people who don't like bourbon.
Right, exactly. Like you said, I think there's a lot of good cocktails that could be used for specifically.
Yes.
I mean, I think the way I make my old fashions would be very good in it.
Yeah.
Make that char, and very happy with. We're 2 for 2, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know you're going to put the mash bill down there somewhere, or...
Yeah.
This is on the bottle, says 100% rye.
Ooh.
This is
going to be a spicy meatball.
Big.
You know, because sometimes I do want like a big spicy rye, like a Manhattan or something like that. And then sometimes like
amaretto.
Mm-hmm.
It is the least bitey on the nose, which I did not expect. It's very smooth, very sweet.
Your eyes don't lie. Wow, this was
the exact opposite of what I expected.
The nose on it is intensely intense, but not like in a bad way.
Right, but like in the exact opposite way you would expect from a 100% rye bourbon.
It's like a bomb went off, but it only got like the 20% like explosion rate of the spice and the rye.
Right.
What you would think. It's definitely sweeter than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. When you buy a rye bread and there's like the light rye and then there's the dark rye.
Right.
And you're getting light rye. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed.
Right.
Because it is good.
Right.
But I just expected it to be bolder. But it's still very pretty to drink.
Mm-hmm. Almost grapefruit. That's the juice.
Grapefruit.
Like just the smell on the nose, you just kind of get that super.
A little bit of this
viscosity on this is a lot different than it for most ryes that I'm used to.
Right.
It's definitely almost similar to the 4 grains.
Yeah, I'm not disappointed. It is very good, but I expected bigger.
Right. And that's just us from reading the back of the label and thinking what we're going to think. So we had really no expectations of anything before we tried it. I would highly recommend this to buy.
Absolutely. If nothing else, the sampler box.
Right. It's worth it. I mean, you know, you get almost a full bottle. You know, bottles are $750. This is $600 for $60 again, but you're getting to try
3 different
kinds. And I think they all serve a purpose. And I actually think they're all worth drinking on a rock or neat by themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
They have that quality to where like you could enjoy it.
What was your favorite?
I think the 4 grain.
Yep. Same.
It's just different. It's so different, you know. It's a unique flavor profile to it.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to make a lion's tail. If you're not familiar with it, it is kind of like a tiki cocktail mixed with a sour cocktail. So you have lime juice, which is kind of unusual with a bourbon drink, but also has allspice dram, which kind of puts it in that tiki kind of clove cinnamon nutmeg. So again, we've never had it. Looking forward to trying it, and we'll see if Riley can get these correct.
I'm interested to see if the allspice dram overpowers.
All right, let's take a look.
You're a sadist. Like, this is dumb. Why? If I can tell the difference in here, I deserve an award. You have to pay for me to go to sommelier school if I can do this.
All right, folks, we need to really hit that subscribe and like button so we can get more views because I can't afford that on my own income.
I am not shocked in the least that Anders loves this cocktail.
Be excited to try all 3 different versions of their whiskey. Which one do you think you're gonna like?
If I can tell the difference, it's probably the rye is probably going to be the only one. I think.
Yeah.
I still think I'm gonna like the 4 grain.
Right.
Because I feel like it's going to add a certain depth.
So let's get Riley. You guys count 0, 1, or 3. Will she get right? I know.
Also, you've been a real dick.
What?
And been making cocktails that are really hard to pick out.
Well, again, they're not all just 3 ingredient cocktails. They're all not just plain Jane cocktails. You gotta live in the real world.
It is a very nice cocktail.
Oh.
Tastes like Christmas.
Yep.
Tastes like Christmas on a beach.
Yep. Really only tastes clove and some more clove.
Allspice.
Allspice. Dryness from the bitters.
I did get a little bit of rye in there.
Yeah.
I think.
What do you think? Okay. I mean, your nose smells lime.
This
might be one of the harder ones.
This is so hard. Oh. Huh. It's very different. I like that one better. Could I tell you what it is now? I think I know.
This one?
The sweetness of the whiskey pulls through more.
Yeah, the sweetness. So the initial dryness and the initial clove is not as much, but I think the dryness is more dominant in this one.
The dryness?
Of like what bitters offers.
Oh, yeah.
That dryness factor kind of, I'm sitting there just, it's like drying my mouth out when I'm like trying to talk.
I mean, yeah, you're right. But I don't really get much rye in this. It's so hard.
There's definitely, I think, more grain tasting in that
Oh,
one.
absolutely.
And that is, you're sitting there concentrating to eliminate all the other flavors to get to that flavor. This is going to be super hard.
Yeah.
This one has the most flavor. Like, they all have big flavors, but these two are more similar, and this one has more flavors than just the allspice, the bitters, the dryness.
I don't know. I feel like this one's kind of flat, one-dimensional.
Okay.
This one is my favorite.
Second one is?
Yep.
See, I think I know what you're talking about by flat. But I think even though it's flat, there's more flavors going on layer.
Ha.
I think you're right though. I think the second one is my favorite. It's dryness down a lot. Oh, we're gonna go ahead and just lock it in. We're not locking it in, we're just starting to put it out there, the feelers.
I'm locking that one because there's the corn sweetness, the corn crib finish kind of. I feel like it's there. No. Why do you do this?
I'm pretty sure one of our next episodes is going to be just as hard. That's a very unique cocktail now for me. The student figures it out.
You've got my best guesses.
Best guesses. So
I'm
we got
wrong.
the rye, bourbon. Yeah, one right.
The bourbon?
Which I think this one was the easiest one again because it just tastes, there's a grain taste.
It's the only one that has a corn. It's the only one that had the corn flavor, and in order to be a bourbon, it has to be 51% corn, yeah? Minimum.
I would have done the same order as you,
Uh-huh.
not knowing.
Right. I picked this one for the rye because to me, it felt one-dimensional, and it felt, I didn't taste the multiple flavors. It felt like this one should have been more dynamic, and this one was more dynamic.
See, I don't. Maybe I would have picked this order because I think this one is very one-dimensional and weak, and that's why the clove and bitter stands out so much more.
Maybe.
Again, it's hard for me to know because I already know what's in it. So
you've got the availability.
I'm trying to
objective.
Right. And take out that I know and go by flavor. But again...
And it's impossible to do.
Yeah, it's impossible. This one is substantially better than the other two, in my opinion. So, like, if you saw this in the menu, I'm going to be honest with you. I really think almost like any whiskey, any, like, just good quality whiskey would work well in this.
Well, yeah, because the spices are so dominant.
So dominant. Try this cocktail. It is definitely worth it. Buy a bottle of Allspice Dram. It's fairly reasonable price. 30 to 35 bucks, if I remember correctly. It's just a little bit, right? Half ounce here, 3/4 ounce there. You're not going to use like 2 ounces in the cocktail.
Right.
A little bit goes a long way. Again, if you're big into tiki drinks, you might already have a bottle of this.
Definitely check out these whiskeys.
Yeah.
The Koval I'm not disappointed. I am actually very pleasantly surprised with how much I like them for as little as I like whiskey.
Right. I think for a portfolio, for these three, it's a great portfolio to like, and I'm like, it makes sense. That's why they put the three together.
Right.
I wish more companies would do this.
Yes.
Just like the Johnny Walker episode we did, and there's other single malts that we found out that do it too. It's just, you know, you might pay a little bit more price per ounce, but the
you're
experience.
paying less, so you can figure out if you want to buy the bottle.
If you found this content interesting, hit the like and subscribe button, share it with your friends.
Stay tuned while we try more from our local distilleries.
Yep, we have a previous episode where we did local gins to us.
Yep.
It might not be available for you, but just go support your local distilleries, breweries, and shops during the whole month of December. Yeah, so go ahead and check out our last episode and stay tuned for some future content. And yeah, 2022 is almost upon us.
It is.
Crazy.
Yep.
All right, which one do you want?
This one.
This one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.